To make it stop.
We bundle it all up for you. There's a slew of watches, warnings, and advisories, all because of this. So let's start first off with the high surf advisory. We're already noticing those waves strong enough to even knock people down as it moves over the jetties. Isolated 11-foot sets, predominantly south of Del Mar, is where you'll notice some of those highest waves. That'll continue until Thursday evening. The winds, obviously a little bit high. You've noticed those palm trees moving very quickly today. For inland areas, that wind advisory stays with us through Thursday at 1 o'clock. So far, the highest wind gust is 40 miles per hour out toward Brownfield, although we could see some gusts closer to 45 miles per hour. In general, though, staying between 15 and 25 miles per hour. With those high winds, we have very low humidity. In fact, it's only forecast to be between 5 and 15%. And with that, a fire weather warning is up through tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Now, the National Forest Service is saying on the scale of 1 to 4 for St. Anna conditions, this is a category 1 out of 4, although there has already been a fire out over toward Hamul where they're trying to get that under control. Temperatures, though, with all the heat, look at this. El Cajon, you're at 91 degrees. We broke records already in San Diego. Coming up, we'll talk more about those temperatures. Guys? Warmest that we're anticipated this week, which means we get a little bit cooler for tomorrow, though it's not going to be tremendous, still well above the average at about 10 to 20 degrees above. It's cooler at 82 degrees, and that's in part due to the fact that when the wind comes in out of the east and it rolls over the mountains, compresses, and heats things up as it travels further out to the west, so thus the coast is a little bit warmer than inland areas. 82 degrees there, but winds a little high at around 21 miles per hour. Makes sense that that wind advisory, in fact, is in effect. High pressure still centered out over toward the Four Corners region. That's what's providing us with those very warm winds. Plus, we have this upper level ridge. These two things are going to stay in place for about the next day. Once we get to around Friday, winds dramatically drop off. We'll notice temperatures sliding, and although they're not going to be back to seasonal, they're going to be a little bit more comfortable for you than dealing with this unbearable summertime heat. Temperature forecast by about 6 o'clock tonight. We're looking at the lower 80s for the coastline, around 82 in Encinitas, 82 in Del Mar. I think we could see those values in some spots a little bit warmer, like in downtown, closer to the mid-80s. Tomorrow morning, staying with the clear conditions as we start things out into the lower 60s, so fairly comfortable for us, but quickly rising. Remember how today, already at about 9 o'clock, we were into the upper 80s. By 12:30, we're looking at 91 out toward El Cajon. The coastline, look at that, quite a difference in the upper 90s we saw today, going from around 86 into Del Mar and 87 out through Encinitas. Temperatures heading as we head into Friday start to cool off even more, so you'll like the weekend. Coming up, we'll talk about that 7-day forecast to show you how much you'll like it. Guys? We got that tied our previous record. Typically, we're only at 70, so we were about 26 degrees warmer than normal. Now, tomorrow not going to be as hot, in part due to the fact that the winds are not going to be just as strong. Still today, though, out over toward Brownfield, about 40 miles per hour. Point Loma saw them gusty up to 29, and Mission Valley at about 25. The wind is going to stay with us enough so that we'll continue to draw in the heat. Temperatures mostly between about 10 to 20 degrees above normal. You can see by 10 o'clock tonight, we'll see them pretty much staying along the west side of the mountains, but tomorrow morning at around 10:30 a.m. that's when they should peak in Ramona and Alpine, closer to about 21 miles per hour. Coming up, we take a look at your 7-day forecast for when a cool down is in sight. Guys? I know they seemed unbearable to even think about. Yes, I said 90 degrees at sunset, which happens just at about 4:51 tonight. And it's in part due to the fact that in the last 24 hours, we've jumped about 17 degrees in downtown. Encinitas here, 14 degrees warmer. The cooler air, though, continues to be found out toward the mountains and deserts, and that's pretty much where it's going to stay for tomorrow as well. Currently, that puts us at about 95 degrees downtown. Chula Vista into the upper 80s, so feeling a little bit more comfortable. Out over toward Mira Mesa, though, around 94 degrees. Depending on where that warm air meets, that's where we're really seeing those temperatures begin to soar. A wide view of what's happening across the country, a little bit of rain coming down through Texas. Wish we had rain, but not really seeing any of that in the next 7 days. Also dealing with another storm system, head out over toward the mid-Atlantic. Cooler temperatures, though, found in a good chunk of the country. You can see the area shaded in blue. Stretching for Kentucky, down through Nebraska, even for portions of North Carolina. Freeze warnings are up with temperatures into the lower 30s. The area shaded in light blue. Frost advisory. So if you think it's hot here, just kind of think about pretending you were in a place like Missouri, where they have those frost advisories as well. Temperatures in the morning hours between around 36 to 32 degrees, and even through parts of Oklahoma where that freeze warning, temperatures falling to around 32. Back here at home, where we have very warm temperatures, you might think it's going to be nice to go ahead and jump into the waters. But remember that high surf advisory is in effect because of extremely strong swells. We could see waves up to 11 feet south of Del Mar. Good for you excellent swimmers, though. You'll notice your high tide coming in at around 5:45 in the evening, which is now after sunset. 7-day forecast, 92 degrees tomorrow. That is staying warm, but it is a little bit cooler than where we were today, dropping significantly. Deserts are looking at 85. That's a look at your 7-day forecast. Jason, over to you.
Thank you, Sabrina.